And joining us this morning, the Athletics football correspondent David Ornstein and our very own Anton Toloui. Morning to you both. Let's get the ball rolling with Liverpool and Steven Gerrard's return to Anfield with Aston Villa. David, I know you were watching Liverpool in the week. How will the Liverpool fans receive Steven Gerrard? But also, what's it going to be like for him when he arrives at Anfield? He's going to have to think about, hang on, wait, I'm going to the away dressing room, the away dugout, not the way that I'm normally used to going. You know, it's going to be a strange experience, but I'd imagine an emotionally very, very intense one for Steven Gerrard.
It will be a bit odd, won't it, David? And hi, Gail. Hi, Anton. Good morning to you all. I think Steven Gerrard is going to find it pretty emotional. And the Liverpool fans will, of course. He's going to get an amazing reception, no doubt about that. I think in terms of that dressing room you mentioned, the new stand has been built since Steven Gerrard left Liverpool, so maybe a bit of unfamiliar territory on that front. And he made such a point when he joined Aston Villa of focusing on them and dispelling speculation that this was just a stepping stone towards the Liverpool manager's job. It is a stated aim of his to manage Liverpool one day. I know he has communication and really good lines of dialogue with Jurgen Klopp and others at the club. Of course, he's a legend there. There is a feeling in the game that he will get there at some point in his career, but I don't think FSG, Liverpool's owners, would plan so specifically for Gerrard to come in as manager. So he's just got to take this occasion for what it is. He needs to get 3 points for Aston Villa. Liverpool would be trying to get 3 points against him. And I don't think he'll want to get caught up in the emotion because he's got such an important task on his hands. But the atmosphere around him from the Liverpool fans will be immense, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Anton, David mentioned there, legends. He is so loved, isn't he, by the Liverpool fans. I'm sure his reception is going to be quite amazing. Where does he rank for you in the very best at the club?
Look, now that's a difficult question to answer off the bat. Thanks a lot, Gail. Appreciate that. Look, I think a legend, obviously, like 700+ games, and look, I'm going to give him a really weird compliment. He is so loved, and he was such a good player in some relatively bad Liverpool teams, and the one thing that'll always be thrown in is he never won the Premier League, and a couple of FA Cups, three League Cups. But look, he elevated that Liverpool team. How much worse would that Liverpool team been in some of those dire years without him? That's why he's loved. He raised the levels of that football club during some mediocre times and took that side to winning the biggest competition of all, the Champions League. When you think of Steven Gerrard, you think of certain moments, which is quite rare with a footballer, but you think of certain moments. You think of the Olympiacos game, you think of Istanbul, obviously. So, I think, yeah, he is obviously one of the best players to ever play for Liverpool. Regardless of, he's got a huge trophy cabinet. Obviously, it's missing one thing, but that doesn't matter because if anything, that just shows his loyalty to the football club, and it shows how much worse those times would have been if it wasn't for Steven Gerrard.
And what about his management style so far, David? With and it's very, very early on in his Aston Villa days, but what he's done at Rangers, what do you see the hallmarks of that being?
Well, it was really nicely honed at Rangers, and that was more successful than many managers or coaches when they enter the big time. It was a big step up, obviously. He'd only managed in the Liverpool Academy previously, and the expectation at Rangers is huge, despite it normally being a two-horse race. And then coming down to Villa, he was overwhelmingly the first-choice candidate. He comes down with a very defined team of coaching staff around him, Gary McAllister, Michael Beale, and others, and they set about their task immediately. Really good victory at Crystal Palace. They pushed Manchester City close as well. So results-wise, it's been a good start. The style of play is coming together. It's on the ball. It's a forward sort of thinking way of playing. He trains his team in units. He deploys coaches individually to work with the defence, the midfield, and attack, which is quite innovative. If you look at the statistics, they've cut back on long balls, on aerial balls. They've played a lot of shorter passing. They've not had huge amounts of possession, which suggests they're pretty keen on getting the transition quick to the front men and being quite ruthless in attack. So I like what they've done. They've brought Ollie Watkins back into form. Danny Ings is coming back to fitness. He's returned to the 4 at the back instead of the 3 central defenders that Dean Smith was deploying to mixed effect. And I think Villa fans have got cause for great optimism.
David, I know you watched Liverpool in Milan this week. They went through, didn't they? 6 out of 6, the perfect group stage for them, and things mostly seem to be great. Mo Salahs maybe the only just vague question mark that just hangs over this side at the moment because he's only got that contract until next year. He is reported to be only the 5th highest earner at Liverpool, and it just rumbles on, doesn't it? And it must be a little bit disruptive. What's your understanding of the situation? Just how important is it for the club to get this sorted, I guess, as soon as possible?
I don't think it's disrupting their results, Gail. They look brilliant, and what I saw in the San Siro was a much-changed team that are still exerting their authority, and for me, they're the informed Premier League side as well. But yeah, it does need to be sorted. Liverpool want to, so does Mo Salah, but there's a difference in what he expects and what they seem to be willing to pay him at the moment. The feeling I get from within the game is that they'll come to a compromise. We don't know exactly what form that will take in terms of whether Salah's salary demands will be met, and his ambitions, of course, which he stated it's not all about money, or whether Liverpool will look to do something a bit more incentivised as he goes into his 30s. Make it success related in terms of that wage that he'll want to earn. Liverpool are very careful with their contract planning, especially when players get towards an older bracket. As we saw with Jordan Henderson just recently, it looked in a bit of trouble, that contract, before they reached an agreement. But he's fundamental to what they're doing, and I think he's got so much more still to give. You look around Europe and you see, well, I'm not sure the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona can afford him, maybe Paris Saint-Germain, but would he want to play there? It feels like he can still add to his trophy cabinet, add to his legend at Liverpool. And all of us neutrals and, of course, Liverpool fans would love to see that. I don't hear of there being an immediate solution on the horizon, so those negotiations will need to ramp up because they'll only have a year to go in the summer, and Liverpool will be looking to rejuvenate that attacking line because we don't know what's going to happen with Divock Origi. Could they bring someone in the summer for the future? Do they bring someone in January because the Africa Cup of Nations with Salah and Mane and that ageing front line? So it's a fascinating and critical time at Liverpool with Salah at the forefront of their thinking.